Welcome back. This is the Sundaze Brunch podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Matz.
I am Ryan Bronson.
And welcome to brunch, baby. Welcome back. What a glorious Sunday. What a glorious Sunday.
What a day.
What a time.
It's episode 4. Bobby,
episode 4.
What's your meal today? What's your brunch?
I got a hearty ass meal of a sausage and cheese McGriddle from McDonald's. If you haven't tried it, try it.
Little McDonald's plug there, huh?
Bro, I had to get my fat boy on today. I went stupid hard, like in the gym and on my diet this week, and I've been like super low in the calorie deficit. So I'm like, okay, I want to eat. I want to be a little bad today, bad to the bone.
Hey, you earned it, and you got the mimosa on the side. Hey, let's cheers. On my menu, I changed up the mimosa and did a beer mosa.
It's a brass monkey.
It's a beer mosa. And you know what? You got a hangover, pizza for breakfast is always the move.
Yo, this fool eats his pizza with no cheese. I know all y'all are out there too. I know. I see you in public and I can tell. Don't worry, baby. I'll eat that cheese.
Sometimes you just that's true. You do eat that cheese.
But yeah, anyway, so after we got the breakfast and these mimosas out of the way, man, yo, what went on this week? What went on in the Bronson world?
This week was a productive one. Got a lot of the mixes back for the deluxe version of the album, so I'm gonna be sending that in soon.
Yes, sir.
And I'm about 2 tracks away from finishing my raw hip hop project. I got a creative strike this week and knocked out like 8 to 10 songs that I'm actually like really confident in. So I'm excited to see what those come to in fruition, and I'm prepping and doing rehearsals for some shows I got coming up and just putting in some work,
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
What's your week look like?
My week was interesting. Got behind the mic for the first time in a while. Recorded a couple verses, couple songs, wrote a couple songs, and I just booked my first video shoot location.
Hey, hell yeah. Where are you gonna do that at?
I got this nice loft studio downtown, super open, empty. It's gonna be a really good set and a really good ambiance for LA Confidential.
That one's gonna be a vibe. That whole song's a vibe.
Speaking of which, LA Confidential drops 3rd Friday in September. Peep the Instagram page, peep the Twitter page. I will be dropping a link soon for the pre-saves. So if you like my music and you fuck with my music, go pre-save that shit. Come on, put some money in my pocket so I can get some more of these McGriddles, baby.
Also, that pre-save, to anybody that doesn't know, anybody that pre-saves automatically turns into a Spotify follow, which means anytime the artist drops, automatically every Friday pops up in your release radars. So it's just another way for you to stay in tune with what we're doing.
Yes, sir. Bronson. Dropping Bronson bombs of knowledge. Love it.
Well, recognized game moment.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, it was a pretty relaxed week for me. Just got a lot of shit done, thankfully. Felt good to be back behind the mic. Been in a creative funk lately, but I mean, that happens and everything. And sometimes you really got to pull yourself back and really be present in the present.
Yeah, you got to find a way to put yourself in the moment and be like, not focused on stuff that happened before, something that's going to happen next. You got to just put yourself in that moment, in that space, and just vibe.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Like I can't remember who always used to say it, but they always used to say the present is called the present for a reason because it is a present.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, I feel like, especially in nowadays, a lot of people are so wound tight and wound up in their own lives and like everything going on around them. They don't really give themselves the time of day to really just take a step back and revel and live in the actual moment,
100%.
And it's pretty cool too, because like I know myself, I catch myself doing this all the time. Um, when you actually do take a step back and you actually feel everything you're feeling in the moment, and like you'll find that you're genuinely happy, you're genuinely sad, you're genuinely unsatisfied, and like you can really narrow down and like lock in on those emotions and figure out what's causing that shit. And dude, those are stepping stones right there to growth.
100%. That's the thing I've always struggled with, is like being in the moment, just because my brain's so active, especially like anxiety mind. You're always thinking all the time. It's like, okay, well, what's the next step after this? And I think once you actually take a second and slow yourself down to be like, this is a moment that you've been looking forward to. Don't ruin this moment by looking forward to something else while you're in the moment that you look forward to,
Yes. Like
you worked like a long time to get to this moment, or you did a lot of shit to get to this moment. Don't let it pass you that quickly.
I agree. I've been seeing this a lot lately. Stop worrying about where you're gonna be, because you used to fantasize and dream about where you are now.
That part.
And that is the biggest thing right there. Because, dude, 5 years ago, I was sitting here dreaming, man, I can't wait to get to LA.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get to LA, start making music, do this, do that, do that. Like, I'm here now. And I still do find myself, like thinking, like, where am I going to be next year? What am I going to be doing 6 months from now? And it's like, bro, like, focus on what you got right now. Because 5 years ago, you were wishing that you had this.
100%.
Stop, Zeus. Stop. Fuck, man. He is on one today.
So we're going to have to edit that part out.
Yeah.
A little blooper reel. What up, Zeus?
But yeah, so realistically, it's just, I feel like a lot of people are stuck in the future.
100%.
And with the future comes the inevitable feeling of the unknown, because nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Nobody knows what's going to happen in 5 minutes.
100%.
And if you let yourself get sucked into that mindset, you're going to live a very anxious life.
Absolutely. And like, yeah, a lot of people are, like you said, stuck in the future, like waiting for what's next. But also a lot of people are very, very, very stuck in the past. They can't let go of something that's already happened, which, and I can understand like embracing something that's already happened, or like looking back, reflecting and growth from that. But something that's already happened has already happened. You can't go back in time and change it. You can't you can't redo it. It is what it is. And I just try to approach it like, this is how it is. This is what I got to do from here, And I think if we could eliminate that thought of the past from our head and the what's in the future from our head, and just narrowed it down to what's right now, I think we'd be a lot more productive in the right now, and a lot more happy in the right now.
100% agree with you too, because I mean, if you really look at it, people that are stuck in the past 9 times out of 10 usually suffer from depression.
Yep.
People that are stuck in the future 9 times out of 10 usually suffer with anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And along with living in the past, a lot of it comes with guilt, with the what ifs, like you were just saying. And like you said, like, dude, that shit's done. It's over with. It happened,
100%. Like,
it's on you what you do with the leftovers or whatever is left from said event and whatnot. That's on you.
Mm-hmm.
You can wallow in your own self-pity. You can sit here and feel guilty, this and that. It's not going to change the fact that whatever happened in the past happened, but you can change your future outcome.
Yeah, one of the things that I had to learn for myself was that you can only worry about what you can control. And it sounds simple when you say it out loud, but when you have an anxious mind, you overthink everything. That simplicity is like mind changing, and allows you to like it allowed me, at least, I know everybody's different, but it allowed me to get out of my head to an extent, obviously good days, bad days still, but it allowed me to get out of my head to be like, I can't actually control this. I can't change this. What I am as I am here in the moment. So I'm going to do in this moment what I can. And I think a lot of that's like self-awareness. Like you can't, if you know you are one of those people who dwell on the past or like think about the what ifs, don't put yourself in a position to have a what if you have like a fear of like, I don't want to be a certain age and think, what if? Go do it. The worst that can happen is fail.
Exactly. And I'd rather die a failure than die regretful.
Define failure for me.
Followed every one of my dreams, done and did every single thing that I wanted to pursue. And in my mind and on my planned path, it didn't go to T.
Okay.
And I didn't get the results I wish I would have got. But I still did everything that I wanted to pursue.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, you will be defined as a failure. But to me, I wouldn't have died as a failure.
Yeah. Like
I would have died at a different ending on the same path.
I can see that. You want to know how I define failure?
So the drive.
Giving up.
I agree. If you give up, you're automatically a failure. Automatically.
Like in the basic definition of it, the only time you are, if you are still pursuing what you want to pursue, you're in pursuit.
Exactly.
If you give up though, that pursuit's over. You're done. If you give up when you haven't done it, that's when you fail. So you're either in pursuit or you did it or you give up and you fail. That's the only time you fail is giving up.
Okay.
It's just I think that's people place failure on he doesn't make this amount of money. He doesn't have this job title. He doesn't do this. No, you're either, are you a failure when you're a broke college kid or are you in pursuit?
You could be either. It all depends on mindset.
100%.
And plus, like, especially with, the way that we grew up, I feel like it was instilled in us, like you were just saying, like, you are only something if you have part in a higher seat of the social hierarchy.
Right.
Like, dude, you know how many times, like when we were younger, I would hear kids picking on like the janitor or like, like someone saying something about the garbage man or like, oh, the postal workers and shit like that. It's like, yo, one, all three of those people probably make the same, if not more, than the person teaching you.
Facts.
And two, the job security and shit behind all that is really good. But that is also a way that they sell you on that shit.
100%.
They're like, oh, there's security in this. It's like, no, there's not security in this.
No, like there's job security, I don't think is an actual thing that exists.
No, it's a made up word to make you think that giving up what you want to do for that paycheck is righteous and worthy.
Yeah, 100%. And like, if you were to ask me my definition of success when I was leaving school, I would have told you, you obtained all of this accolades. Now that I've attained some accolades, you want to know how I define success?
Happiness.
Happiness. You are not successful if you're not happy. Like I said, I have millionaire friends who are miserable. I know people who are broke as fuck who happy as shit. Like you and I hopped on a phone call the other day and we had a conversation briefly about this. You said you ran into this, actually tell the story.
I'll try to think of drawing a blank, to be honest with you.
When you hopped on the phone the other day and you're like, I just had this whole epiphany.
Yes. So I was on the phone with Ryan the other day because I had this crazy fucking epiphany. Um, that mentally my mind was limiting me subconsciously to living a very, very safe cookie cutter life right now. And I finally was able to admit why I was doing that, because anybody that knows me, that's not me. Like I do not like to fit the mold. But so I finally I had this epiphany, and I admitted to myself that I was scared to start living an enjoyable life because I was scared that it would be taken away. Because when I was younger, I was in a relationship, I moved across the country. Um, I thought that what I had was a great life, was a happy life, and all that. And in my mind, and what I needed at the time, that's what it was. But then, out of my control, everything, went the way that it did. And now I am here, single by myself, blah, blah, blah. But I went through so much mental turmoil that my mind literally shut off the possibility of new shit to come, solely because I was in a comfort zone. I'd found my comfort bubble, and I'm like, okay, I have everything I need in here. Why go outside of it?
Yeah, and you found like this space where like you didn't have to expose yourself to.
I found a space I didn't have to be.
Letdowns.
Yeah, exactly. I found a space that I didn't have to let myself be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
When in all reality, if you go through life with no vulnerability,
ain't nobody gonna know the real you.
no one's gonna know the real you. Not even you.
Yeah, facts.
You're gonna be confused as a motherfucker on who you are. And on top of that, like the shit that you're doing when you're 18, you're gonna be doing when you're 68.
And that ain't gonna be fun.
And you're telling me you could you do the same exact schedule for 50 years?
I can do the same schedule for 5 days.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I like fresh. I like new. That's why I like, even, like when I bartend and everything, I love that because, yeah, maybe I'm making the same drinks, but I'm having all sorts of different conversations, all sorts of different walks of life. I'm getting the lowest point of views. I'm getting the highest point of views. I'm getting the saddest of sads, the happiest of happies. 100%. And like that, and that shit is cool.
Yeah.
But it's because it's fresh, it's new, it's real, it's authentic.
It's raw.
Which I feel like we live in a day and age where everyone is trying to be the best someone else.
Yeah, it's an imitation game right now. Everybody's trying to put on this portrayal of this perfect life that they live, of how their life is better than everybody else's, and nobody wants to admit that sometimes I'm fucked up in the head.
Like, yo,
that sometimes I go through it.
Like, dude, one of the best examples I love to use is this one couple I know. Like, fucking top-notch Instagram couple. You'd see the shit on Instagram, you'd be like, yo, I want that. The moment they're outside of the camera, they fucking fight. They're at each other's throats. And I'm like, yo!
Y'all are phony. I can't understand being inauthentic. I can't understand it. It doesn't make one. Why am I putting on for somebody? Like, what is that image going to get me besides like fake admirers?
Mm-hmm.
And like two, like it's a literal. If you obtain friends, or if you obtain people around you by a fake like persona that you put on, you're gonna acquire fucking fake friends. If you acquire acquaintances and fake shit from this fake fucking persona that you put off into the universe, those interactions are going to be inauthentic because they're not going to have that basis of you being your real self. And then you're going to get to a place where you want to be your real self. And you're going to be like, well, why don't these people fucking get me? Because you've never been your real fucking yourself. You know?
Yes. And on top of that, bro, like, you got tired.
Yeah.
You got to be tired because, like, yo, I was, you know, in that point to where, like, you know, I was trying to be something I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's tiring.
That shit's, yeah.
That shit is tiring. The moment you fucking close that door on the world, like, dude, you're just like, oh. And it's just like, is that worth it? Like, why would you want to do that to yourself?
No, it makes zero sense. And I think, like, I've never tried to be like, show a persona that I'm not. There's been times where I try to like filter myself for like 5 minutes, and that's exhausting. Especially like I have no filter at fucking all. So like for me to try to filter myself, like if I'm around like people who may not like the language, and eventually I just got to a place where I'm like, I'm not going to do this because one, this is exhausting. Two, if you don't like me, I don't give a fuck. I like me enough for me. I love me like Kanye loves Kanye.
Speaking about Ye, where's Donda?
Bro,
come on, man. Where's Donda?
Dude, right now,
Stop building your house in the stadium.
Dude, as I was just gonna say, he's building his fucking childhood home in the Chicago Bears Stadium. He's from Chicago. If we don't get it after this spectacle, it doesn't exist.
Like, I mean, kudos to him because, like, bro, that's like dream shit. But like, come on, bro, like, do that at the launch party. Just give us a goddamn album.
Think about this though, right? As infuriating as a Kanye fan as it is to,
he's a marketing genius for this.
Yes, because never once did he say the album's coming out on this day.
Never once did you say that.
He said he's having an album listening party 2 times, which artists say all the fucking time.
All the time.
I have album listening parties with my friends. He never once said, I'm dropping the project this day. So he had these major sellout album release or album listening parties, which is actually, if you think about it, it's low-key a little bit brilliant because when you put a product out as a musician, you don't really know how you feel about a song totally until you play it live.
Yep.
So he's taking these songs that he has, playing them live, and then is able to go back to work and like, okay, but when I'm doing this live, I can change this here, and this will be better for that performance. This will be better for the overall record.
Well, not only that, if you really think about it and break it down into marketing terms, he's 100% controlling the supply right now.
Oh, 100%.
And like, think about it. Like, once your music's out, it's out.
Yeah. Also, like, with the streaming era, like, a lot of people have stopped using the whole like pre-order facet of projects, and the pre-save, unless pre-order and pre-save, unless the artist is giving an incentive to do them, don't really work. Like, there's just not an incentive to do it. Kanye has like put his album up for pre-order, and because of not announcing an actual date, has convinced people to use pre-order again.
Yeah.
Like, he's never announced a drop date, and when he does finally drop it, every single person that's been anticipating it is gonna go click play. He's going to break almost every streaming record in the first week. I can pretty much guarantee it.
Oh, easily. And especially everything that's going on with his like personal life, because like ever since he got with Kim and all that, like his life was never really private after he blew up, but like as soon as he got with Kim, I feel like we knew when he pissed, when he shat, like everything about him, dude.
Yup.
So like he's got yeah. You know, now they're divorcing, and like that's huge publicity cover. It's just he's got a lot of eyes on him right now. And I feel like he went about like this whole Donda situation the most genius way possible.
100% is genius, but also one, Kanye has always been very like in tune with his art.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing the relationship he had with his mom and naming it after his mom, dude wants to have it perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't think that like I realize and understand like the consumer's frustration with it, but you also got to respect like this is an artist's art. He's naming this project after his fucking mom. So let him put it to what he considers perfect. We'll get it when it's time.
100%. 100%.
But also,
and
yeah,
like,
drop that shit.
Yeah, but like you did make a pretty good point. Like, I feel like the consumer at times forgets that they are the consumer.
100%.
And because like I don't know how many times I've seen like people like just fire shots at all these different artists, like, where's new shit? Where's new shit? Where's new shit? Like demand, 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 demand. It's like, yeah, like as an artist, like you are providing a service, I guess. But at the same time, like you are creating something that you want to create, not because someone's like, yo, create this.
If they were to put artistry in the same realm of like other products, like even like before I go on this tangent, like the general consumer doesn't understand how long it takes to make a song that you're confident in. The general consumer does not understand that you can't be in a studio from 9 to 5 every single day and make the best content that you've ever made every single day. The general consumer does not understand that for especially these bigger artists to push their lead single is running them $200,000 to push that lead single.
Yep.
And granted, the artist does not reach that height that they're trying to reach without the consumer. But in that same breath, that artist is pressured to put out, especially in this current streaming platform era with the algorithms and such, the artist is pressured to put out projects every year and singles consistently throughout the year and visuals and perform live and attend to their social media. And a lot of like that's one fucking person. Like there is still bands that exist, but back in the day when you had these global phenomenons, you had bands like the Beatles, like Lennon and Paul wrote the songs, you know? Ringo and George were able to handle the booking and shit. A lot of times, like it's just this, it's one person doing all of it, and the consumer's just like, I want more, I want more, I want more, I want more. Like, bro, give me a second to take a piss.
Literally.
You know?
Literally.
And like, obviously, if you're on a major label, that can work into your favor because you have a team around you. If you're at a high level of independent artistry, you can employ a team around you. But a lot of the people, like, it's a one-man show, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that brings me to the next question, which is, if you had the choice to stay independent or sign to a major label, what would Bobby Matz personally prefer, and what is your views on independent versus major?
It would all break down to what would go into a deal with a major label for me to even really, I guess, look at an offer.
Sure.
Because my entire career I've been independent, and I enjoy it because it's exactly what it says. Independent. You are by yourself. You get to do what you want to do.
Right.
When you come into a label and contracts and deals with that shit, a lot of the time I feel artists jump into that shit because they're like, wow, it's a deal. And they don't really look at what the deal entails in the finer print.
They don't look at what they're signing.
Exactly. The way that I would sign onto a major label is 100% creative control right off the top. Gotta have that. And I still get to own my masters.
Yes.
Like all I really want out of that major label is promotion and marketing.
100%.
That's it.
Right. And
that is the only way I would be able to sign to a major label is if I still got to operate independently.
I agree. And I think for me, it's very similar. Like signing a deal would depend on what the deal looked like. And I think this isn't public knowledge, but since we're doing the podcast and like letting people into like our minds and our lives, I've turned down a $750,000 record label offer.
Yep, I remember that.
I wasn't going to retain my masters, and I wasn't going to have the ability to control a lot of things. And not being able to retain your masters, for the people out there who don't know what that means that the songs that I have created, that I've written, are not fully owned by me. I'm not getting the lion's share of those royalties. I'm not getting the lion's share of the performances. As time goes on, essentially whoever I would have signed that deal with, if I decided to sign it, would have been profiting off of and owning to use for whatever the fuck they wanted to use it for, the content that I created.
Yeah, they could literally turn around and sell it.
Now, would I sign a deal that allowed me to be who I wanted to be, and it was I retained 51% of the masters, and they got 49%? Depends on the deal, probably. But I want to retain the lion's share of ownership if I sign a deal.
Yep. You would own majority.
Yeah, I don't think I could sign for any less than 51%, unless it was like a one-off song here and there that I was doing for like a soundtrack or something, or like
like a movie soundtrack and shit like that. Like that's whatever. Like you're creating it for that movie,
right?
Or a video game.
Like you're a stamp in that movie. Like people are gonna associate that movie forever. Like
or like, yo, I know like it's a huge stamp to get included on like Madden.
Yeah, I would love that.
And NBA.
I would do that for free.
That's what I'm saying. Like that type of shit, cool. Yeah, because that's that right there. That's that's a badge. But yeah, dude, it's crazy what labels can actually do to artists. Like one of the biggest ones that has happened in our lives that is very recent, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, dude. She got royally fucked.
Royally fucked out of royalties.
Yeah, legit.
Like bad, dude. Bad. Go into that a little bit, right?
Yeah, like when I think it was Scooter Braun bought her catalog from something machine. I can't think of the full name of her independent label. But like they bought her royalties from her, and she's had to, like, she didn't own the masters on them. So she was getting fucked out of royalties, and literally to the extent where she wasn't on tour, wasn't able to perform some of those songs that she had recorded previously, like on those labels, because she didn't own them. So she's had to go back and re-record some of those older songs and try to convince her fans to listen to the new versions so she can be properly compensated because of the whole deal with Scooter Braun buying her catalog. Now, I'm not saying this to bash Scooter Braun. He is ultimately a businessman, but also if you have that many artists under you, you would think you would have the knowledge to do that. I've heard terrible things about Scooter Braun with people like Taylor Swift. And then there's people like Justin Bieber and Usher who vouch for and compliment Scooter Braun to the max. So I personally don't know the man. I don't know, but I do know that you are single-handedly fucking somebody out of hundreds of millions of dollars. And I mean, you can say what you want about Taylor Swift, but she's a songwriting genius. And as far as like her now understanding like the way the business works and her going in and re-recording and recreating all of her masters, is a brilliant move. And I've started seeing a lot of older acts, like from the 80s and 90s, who have been trapped in these record deals, start doing the same, like re-recording their products and putting out a new master so that way they can be properly compensated. So she has kind of started this whole, maybe not started, but kind of like been at the forefront of this whole like artists getting compensated properly movement that is very, very necessary. Like she's putting a big face to standing up for artists, which is, I applaud the fuck out of that.
100%. Yeah, because she doesn't even have a lot of her music on streaming platforms.
It's all on there now, but she struck deals to make that happen. I mean, it's the same thing as like when like Jay-Z and Kanye have different deals to be on Spotify and shit, because they obviously, like, people who use Spotify and shit specifically went to Tidal because they wanted to stream Jay and Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
So they struck deals with the other streaming to get themselves on there.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, once you have that type of leverage, though.
Yeah, and also Jay ended up selling Tidal anyways.
Yeah, he sold that for a pretty penny.
Oh yeah, he made bank on that transaction.
I definitely saw that one coming from the moment they created that platform.
Oh, 100%, but I don't remember exactly the name of the company he sold it to. But the amount of artist resources that company has, he made a brilliant decision.
Mm-hmm.
He made an intentional decision, I should
say. Oh yeah, definitely.
And also, like, he's one of those people, like, the phrase is becoming popularized now. We're like living intentionally, doing things intentionally, you know?
100%. You cannot accidentally become successful.
No, you can't.
If you want to be successful, you need to live an intentional life.
Yeah, like you have to, not to say put all your eggs in one basket, but when you're growing up and they ask you the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Everybody has their answers. Some people say firefighter. Some people say businessman. Some people say race car driver. Some people say, you say whatever. They ask you the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then they ask you the secondary question that I think is bullshit. What's your backup plan?
I hate that. I absolutely hate, like, love my mom to death. But she, ever since I was younger, was always make sure you have a plan B. And for the longest time, I always thought to myself, like, yeah, that's smart. Like, like, obviously, like, fight for plan A, but make sure you got fallback.
Bro, the only time you need a plan B is if the condom breaks.
100%. Hey. You got to see it through, my boy. But yeah, I don't know. It's just the whole like plan A and all that shit, especially with like living intentionally. Is just...
I just don't see.
I hate the fact. This is one of the biggest things I hate about fucking school and like expectations and shit. Is like, how are you going to expect a young adult, 17, 18, 19 years old, to literally make a financial decision as big as college is, and two, a life decision, because like a month ago I had to ask you if I could use the bathroom.
Yeah. That's facts. Also, like,
and now a month later you're like, okay, like, hey, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? What do you want to spend, upwards of $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 on for the next 4 years, right, to then not even be guaranteed a job in what you go to school in?
100%. Like, that's bizarre as fuck to me, for one. And also, like, that whole, oh, you gotta have a backup plan, makes zero fucking sense to me. How can you expect somebody to put their time and their energy and their effort into their plan A if you're telling them to get a plan B?
That's literally telling someone to make sure they have a backup plan is literally telling someone like, hey, plan to fail.
Literally. Like, why? It doesn't not that's like saying like, okay, well, you know how to use a fucking toilet, but you should probably take a pair of boxers with you every place you go just in case you shit yourself.
Makes zero sense.
Why? Oh, and then somebody pops in your whip. Oh, why is there underwear here? Just in case I shit. That's like saying like, okay, I'm gonna go to my work today, but like put it in the fucking work world form. I have a phone call. I'm at work, but I also have a phone call with another employer. Well, why are you on the phone with another employer? Because they told me I need a plan B. So just in case this doesn't work out, I'm gonna be over here.
Yeah, your employer would 100% be like, get the fuck out, you're fired.
Yeah, you'd be fired. So why do they teach kids? Oh, just have a plan B. That comes back to that term, like they use that whole, like we've said this before on another episode. That comes back to they're using the whole be realistic bullshit. Be realistic, have a plan B. No, you're saying to be realistic because you probably hate your fucking job.
Or like, dude, one of the biggest things I remember like growing up that back then it didn't like hit me as hard just because I knew it was fucked up, but at the same time I was still too young to really be like, why are you doing this? When like a kid or someone young or even someone old like says like genuinely like, yo, I want to do this.
Yes.
And the first response they get hit with is, you're not going to do that. Don't even fucking think about it. Like,
yeah, like I clearly already thought about it.
Like, what?
Like, I very clearly already thought about it.
Like, dude, one of the biggest things, like as like kids when we were growing up, everyone was like, yo, I want to go to the MLB, I want to go to the NBA, I want to go to the NFL. And like, are those like crazy dreams? They're not crazy. It's very obtainable, but you just got to put in the work.
Right.
But to anybody that doesn't see that that's literally like the process of it is like, you just have to want it and you have to work for it. They'll tell you like, no, you're not gonna be able to do it. Why? Because you couldn't do it.
Facts. That's literally anytime that somebody tells you they can't do something, my mouth got ahead of my brain there for a second. Anytime somebody tells you that you can't do something, it's because they can't do it.
Yeah, they
couldn't do what they wanted to do.
They are projecting their own shortcomings onto you.
100%. Like the professional athlete instance is a perfect example. Is they're saying to you, you can't be a professional athlete because in their head, if I couldn't do it, no one can.
Yes.
But realistically speaking, were you in the gym in the morning and nighttime? Or did you go to the gym when the rest of your team went and then you went and partied with the rest of your team? Right? Did you put in those extra hours? Did you take those extra shots in the gym? Did you go seek to have the best trainers? Did you seek, or even if you couldn't afford the best trainers, did you seek to put in all the extra time that you fucking could so that you could get seen by the best trainers that wanted to work with you?
Yes.
There is an avenue to obtain any and everything, and somebody telling you that that's not possible is a direct result of their bitterness that they're not doing what they want to do. I won't even say they're failures because failure is subjective. It is 100% comes down to them being miserable in what they do, and misery loves company.
Or like, dude, one thing that always like made me kind of crack up and be like, wow, you really like have no life was teachers, adults holding vendettas against kids. Or like one that's always common is like coaches holding vendettas against kids or players for something they have no control over.
100%.
And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're moving weird, bro. That's suspect. Like, you're a grown ass adult.
Dude, I remember probably putting some people on blast here, but fuck it. Our high school basketball coach wouldn't play certain people over certain people, even if they were better, because their parent was in the fucking funding.
Yes. Because mommy and daddy had money.
Yeah. Or like mommy and daddy were like paying in or like doing the fundraisers.
Yep. They had mommy and daddy had pull.
Yeah.
You're playing a lot. I know a handful of people that their playing time came from solely what their parents did behind the scenes.
Oh, 100%. It was a lot of high schools in this world.
Yeah, it wasn't just our high school. No, it was a lot of high schools.
It's a very political thing, and it's like, unfortunately, money is what drives.
Yeah. Like I there's a very, very common phrase back home that I heard growing up: who you know and who you blow.
Yeah, kind of.
And like obviously it's not a direct correlation what happens, but it's
not far off.
It's really not far off.
It came from somewhere.
Unfortunately. Like, dude, the biggest thing that I never understood when it came to the scholastic system and shit is the involvement in a young person's life outside of school.
Yeah, that was goofy.
It was so strange. Like, yo, obviously, if you're coming to school with like a black eye every other day or shit like that, then yeah, like you're like some sort of abuse or something's like crazy happening. Yeah, maybe like step in, but you aren't going to step in as a school. You're going to call, a social services. You're going to call the cops. You're going to call something like that. But like 100%. The way that like teachers, administration, and shit like that would be socially invested and involved in these young people's life to know what they're doing after school, to know where they're at after
to know
practice.
Where the fucking fights were.
It was just weird. It's like, yo, let us live. Let us be young.
It was so fucking weird.
It was so, like, dude, you remember when I got busted having that house party.
That was
dude,
a good time.
And like the crazy thing is like I would understand if we were being reckless. 100% I would understand, but even then, like, we're kids, we're gonna be reckless.
Right.
But dude, for the extent to where a teacher literally started questioning shit and then out of nowhere, like, we're getting dragged out of our classes to talk about what we did over the weekend.
Yeah. Like,
and then after that, automatically with no proof or anything, what was it? It was over 10, 15 athletes got athletic suspension because of what people were saying. Like, yeah, this happened. Well, where's the proof? Well, I said it happened.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Like, dude, the fact that they literally like tried like telling me that all this beer and everything and like I was supplying it, and I'm like, yo, like I had people over to watch the game, which I did. That's what we did.
Until someone broke the TV.
Yeah. Like until someone, smashed the TV, and then that was it. Like, obviously, like that was a face. Like, obviously I was having a party, but like nothing bad happened. The only reason why shit got found out is because of a nosy ass teacher.
Yep. 100%.
And because of that, I know 10 to 15 people that missed out on an entire half of a year in high school of sports.
Yeah.
And while also still having to be part of a sports team. That was the weirdest punishment I thought ever. Like, hey, listen, you're going to be suspended from playing sports, but the only thing you're suspended from is playing in the game. And if you want to play another sport, you have to be in a sport to serve your suspension.
So goofy, dude.
Dude, that was the goofiest thing ever. That was the goofiest thing ever.
Dude, and you know why, like, you know what ultimately it boils down to? Is fucking fear of the opinion of middle-aged white parents. Fucking Karens. They're like, oh, well, they did this. Sorry, Karen. Sorry that you haven't had a beer and gotten fucked in 2 years, Karen, but some people are out here living.
Or like, dude, you want to know one thing that cracks me up the most? Fireworks.
Dude.
Fireworks. The amount of people that lose their minds on the 4th of July. Stop it! Stop it! I can't hear it. Oh, it's the 4th of July. Your entire life, what has happened? Fireworks,
Yeah.
boom booms, people roasting hot dogs and drinking brews. I can understand it if you are audibly impaired and like you get like triggered by loud noises. You know it's fucking coming. Get some earmuffs or fucking go somewhere that you're not gonna hear these fireworks.
I can understand it for some circumstances, but not all. Like I can understand it if you are a war veteran and you
if you're
triggered.
Audibly impaired, 100%.
But I can't understand it if you're a fucking middle-aged Karen trying to watch your fucking nightly TV. Fuck off, Karen.
Nope. Or like,
sorry your vibrator broke that night.
Dude, can we take a side note and talk about these fucking mask mandates real quick?
I mean, we can. I don't know if we're going to agree or disagree on this, but we can.
Nah, this is where I got kind of annoyed, all right? Parking my car. I'm in an outside parking instruction.
Mm-hmm.
I go into an elevator. In the elevator by myself. Lady yells, "Hold the door!" I hold the door. She gets in. She's with her daughter. They're both wearing masks. Mm-hmm. I'm in the back corner. Minding my own business. I don't have a mask on. We're outside. We're in an elevator now. I was in there first. She looks me dead in the face. She goes, "Sir, can you please put your mask on?" And I looked at her and I said, "No, we're in an elevator. I was in here first. I held the door for you. We're about to be out. I'm 6 feet away from you." No. Looks me dead in the face, says, "White privilege." And I just kind of like looked at her and I was like, "Bro, like, are you serious? Like, this is what we're getting to now?"
Yeah.
Like, I was so annoyed with that. I just kind of like looked at her and I just didn't say anything after that. And like, dude, even her daughter was kind of like looking at her like, "Stop. Like, why are you doing this?"
But she would be the same person to fucking call the cops on somebody that wasn't white.
And I was just like, I'm like, I hate this narrative. I hate that narrative that just because I'm white, I automatically think that I'm allowed to do things other people aren't doing. No, I still follow every single law. Everything, bro. I don't know. I hate that narrative. But anyway, the whole mask mandate, I was just like, bro, we're outside.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you getting on me? I'm like, it'd be one thing if like we were inside in a closed room and like we were staying in there. Yeah, I'd have my mask on. You know, that's what the law is.
Right.
But nowhere in the law does it say, hey, when you get inside an elevator, if someone asks you to put your mask on, put your mask on.
Right. Here's my thing with it, with like that scenario, is when you were getting in the elevator and she asked you to hold it, she saw you weren't wearing a mask.
Exactly.
So if it's that big of a
don't get in.
Right. Like if I can understand like you have something like I do think like I'm not denying like that COVID is a real thing. Like I think it's a real thing. But in that scenario, you are already in the elevator in this position. You yourself have chosen that you aren't wearing it. She sees that you're not wearing it. So why is she saying, "Please hold the door for me, let me in here," and then trying to obtain and alter your space? You know, had you said, "Hey, will you hold the door for me?" and saw that she had her mask on and you hopped in there and refused
to put it on, it'd be a different scenario.
A completely different scenario. But that's not how it played out.
Exactly. If roles were reversed and I got in an elevator with someone that had a mask on, they're like, "Yo, will you please put your mask on?" I am obligated to put my mask on.
Yeah, because you're entering their space at that point.
Exactly.
Yes.
But since it was the other way around, I'm just like, I just didn't understand the thought process that this woman had. That was like exactly everything you just said. She saw I wasn't wearing a mask. She entered the elevator after me, and then she pretty much was like demanding me
Yeah.
obey her. And like, it's just like, are you doing this because you genuinely feel unsafe? Are you doing this because you want to feel that you have some sort of power over someone?
Yep, that's what it was.
Or are you just doing it to troll someone? Like what is your actual intention behind this?
Probably a little of everything, honestly, dude. People are fucking weird.
Like I just didn't understand that because like, dude, never once in my mind would I ever go and like see somebody and be like, yo, do this. And I have no idea who they are.
Yeah. Dude, it's ego. That actually brings us perfectly to our next topic. That's ego.
Like,
Like what is your like what does the ego of Bobby Matz look like?
I have a God complex, I will admit.
You have the what?
I have a God complex.
Explain that? I don't know what that means.
It pretty much means that like I know that I'm good, and a lot of the times I will think that I'm better than everyone else.
Okay.
When in all reality, it's just I know I have a big ego. I know I'm cocky, but it also stems a lot from confidence getting mistaken as cockiness.
Yeah.
And like I do check myself because like I'm not any better than anybody.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not. I'm an average guy. I make music. A lot of people fuck with me. I'm a real person. I speak my mind.
Yep.
Not better than anybody else.
Right.
The way I carry myself, a lot of people would look at me and be like, he puts himself on a pedestal.
Yeah.
He thinks that he's better than everyone else. It's like, I don't think I'm better than everyone else. Do I carry myself like it? Yes, because I believe in myself.
Well, first of all, what's wrong with putting yourself on a pedestal? I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it as long as you don't put yourself on a pedestal and look down on other people. That's when you start getting wrong.
Right.
Because like I never look down on anybody.
Right.
You know, like even when I do have myself on a pedestal and I'm feeling like I am that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like I'm never gonna like look down at you and be like, fuck you doing, peasant. Like I'm not. Yeah. I'm a very uplifting person.
Right.
If you move sideways at me and like do something fucked up, like yeah, I can be very cold too.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I'd say my ego is like God complex, but it doesn't come from a cocky, like I'm better than everyone else. It comes from I'm very confident and I believe in myself.
That's fair. I don't know that I would. For myself, like I think I'm very, very, very clearly abundantly confident. Mm-hmm. I have no self-doubts about myself, but I'm also like I'm overly confident in myself, but I'm also overly confident in how other people should think about themselves. I think everybody should be just as high on themselves as I am on myself.
Exactly.
But I also like, I think a lot of people, and maybe this is a flaw, maybe this is a perk, I don't fucking know. I'm very like, when I'm in a room of strangers, I'm very in my own fucking world.
100%, dude. Always.
I do not give a fuck what anybody around me in that space thinks, has to say. I'm just like, this is what I'm gonna do. I don't care what y'all do. This is what I'm gonna do. And like, I think a lot of people like walk into a room and they like, suddenly their eyes start looking everywhere and they're like, well, what if I do this and somebody thinks this and somebody thinks that? And I'm just like, I'm gonna just do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pop in here, get my shit, and I'm gonna go.
Yeah, and then not only that, it's just like being in that mindset of like being in like own little world and like, you know, like heavily fucking with yourself like that, you create your own gravitational pull.
Yes.
Like, I don't know how many times I've been kicking it with the homies and we go to a function and it feels literally like all eyes are on you.
Yeah.
And it's just, and it's like, I'm not saying that to be like, hey, yo, like everybody looking at us. It's like, no. But if you have that right energy, you carry yourself like you believe in yourself and shit, dude, it's crazy because the amount of gravitational pull and like everything you have on not just people, but also other auras and energies and everything else around you is crazy.
Dude,
Just believing in
100%.
yourself.
Dude, and you and I are a perfect example of this. Anytime that you and I go someplace and we're in the same room, it's like, even if people don't know who the fuck we are, it's suddenly like Brian Bronson and Bobby Masters walked in this bitch.
Yeah.
It's just the way we carry ourselves. There's some people in a room that are like intimidated by us, and then there's other people inside the room. They're like, I want to hang out with them. And there's other people in the room. They're like, who the fuck are these guys?
Yo, and like that brings up a good point is for the longest time, whenever I would meet people and after like I would get to know them and everything, everyone would be like, like I would have never like approached you, you're very intimidating.
Yes, all the
And
time.
for the longest time, I would always be like, how am I intimidating?
Yep.
Like, is it because like I'm a bigger guy? Like, do I have a fucking, an RDF? Do I have a resting dick face? Like what's going on? But then it got put into words. I'm not intimidating. You are intimidated.
Yep. That part.
By me.
Yep.
That's it. Like you're intimidated because I'm fucking up something in your, like energy or whatever, and you don't like it, and I'm making you feel a type of way.
Right. It's
just because I'm shining bright, I'm not gonna put dimmers on because it's making you uncomfortable.
Right. It's like
that's on you, bro.
100%. I don't know what it is about. Both of us carry a very fucking solid energy by ourselves, but when we walk in a room together, bruh.
And that's the craziest thing too, is like it's not even like we're really trying to be like, yo, like we're gonna make sure these people know who the fuck we are. Like I'm not going in that room being like, I'm gonna be known, but I leave that room known.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh, 100%.
Like I'm not going into that room being like every single person's gonna know who I am. But when I leave, every single person knows who I am.
Right. And it's an energy pull. Like people pull from our energy. Like we radiate positive energy, but also confident energy. And it's just something about the way we carry ourselves that people migrate towards a positive energy.
100% people migrate towards a positive energy. And the craziest thing too is like, it's funny because, like you ask about, what's Bobby's ego? I asked, what's Ryan's ego? My ego wasn't always like this.
No, there was a time in life that we hated each other.
And on top of that, there was points in my life where I thought I was nothing.
I can't
like I know you can't relate, but like there was points in my life where I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be anything, this and that, and this and that. Like I manifested who I am and the way that I carry myself now. And it wasn't because I was just like, all right, I want to be like this, and I was like that.
No,
it didn't happen like that.
No,
but I did work towards it, and I told myself, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to feel. This is what I want to be.
Yep.
And 100%. Speaking that and believing it over time, I became it.
Yep.
And that's what and that's what manifestation is.
100%. I think you can attest to this. You and I are both very the same in this. But like for myself, I was manifesting. Both of us were. I was manifesting before I knew I was manifesting.
Yes.
Like you look back in our early songs, I want this to play with this person, to do with this. I want this crowd. I want these followers. I want this money. I want this life. I want this persona. I want this factor. We were saying that shit, putting it down on paper, putting it into a microphone, saying it out loud. We were manifesting before we knew what manifestation was. And we were like, and if you look at like the prime rules of manifestation, what are they? Write them down, say them out loud. Like when you like look into like a spiritual journey and you look at manifestation, the prime rules to like manifesting what you want is to write it
your
down.
affirmations pretty much.
Yeah, it's affirmations. You write it down, you say it out loud. We were doing that without knowing we were doing that.
Yep.
And now that we know about it, like we're more intentional with what we say. Like now we're like, okay, well, we have this now. Okay, now I want a milli. So we're gonna put that in the track.
Yeah.
Like we manifest it and we say it and we put it out into the universe and the universe listens. Like the universe is a magnet for your thoughts, and what you put out into the universe comes back to you. If you put positivity into the universe, you put positivity into the atmosphere, you put positivity out there, positivity is going to come back to you. And the same thing goes for negativity. And that's why you see people who are negative all the fucking time repeatedly getting negative. People are like, I can't catch a fucking break. You know why you can't catch a break? Because you're saying negative shit all the fucking time. You're saying this person can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do that. You're 100% fucking right. But also on the flip side, people are saying, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to win this. I'm going to get this. They're getting the same shit. You know why? Because the universe fucking listens to you.
Yeah. You can't catch a break if you believe you can't catch a break.
You can't catch
Literally.
a break if you, it's
like if you're sitting here saying like, man, I can't catch a break, you're not going to catch a break. And simple.
Yeah, like my dad didn't call it manifestation. He like it was the simplest form of manifestation, and I didn't know it. He would always instill in my brother and I, you can do whatever you put your mind to, for one, and two, if you say you can do it, you're right. If you say you can't do it, you're also fucking right.
Yep.
And that's the simplest form of manifestation before I even knew what it was. Like that was instilled from me in like early childhood. Like when I was learning how to swing a baseball bat and a tee.
Yeah. And also a lot of it too, people don't realize this with manifestation. It's not about only and solely what you speak. It's also what you think.
Yes. And also people mistake manifestation for you're going to get exactly what you want.
No,
you are going to get what's meant for you.
Yes.
You are going to attract what's meant for you. And like, obviously the music field kind of like for us, like we manifested the view that we wanted, the mind state and the changes that we wanted. It was manifested, but it also led us on so many other fucking, like opened up so many other doors for us through that manifestation. Like the podcast, for instance, touring, all of it. Like the mind state wasn't open through music directly. The mind state was open through meeting people as a result of the music, you know? And I like spirituality, I think confuses like hippie dippy shit in like places where like the areas that we're from. And it's really not. Like it's very
it's honestly like universe. Exactly, like spirituality and all that shit. Like it's funny because it is a sensitive topic still, unfortunately, because a lot of people look at it like, oh, it's like that voodoo hippy dippy witchcraft shit. Yeah. And like, listen, if you want to look at it like that, by all means, I'm not going to try to change your viewpoint because that's a waste of my energy. Mm-hmm. It's not that. It's simply a belief system.
100%. And like, I try to put it like this when I explain it to people, and a lot of people get this misconstrued because like, I'm a Christian, I believe in God, and I pray. But if you look at manifestation and prayer,
it's the same thing.
They're very, very similar.
No, it's not even very similar. It's the only thing is usually when you're praying, you're speaking directly to God.
Right.
You will literally say, you know, God, or somewhere in your prayer, you will acknowledge the fact that you're speaking to them.
Yeah, and everybody has like different views. And my view is that God created a universe, so they both listen. You know?
Yes.
So like for me, like I pray and I do affirmations, like I manifest. So
yeah,
for me,
as to where like
to God and both the universe, and they both listen, and they both, what you put out will come to you.
Exactly. As to where like me, I'm agnostic. You know, like I don't put a name on it, but I believe there's a higher power.
Right.
So like with me, my manifesting is my praying.
Right. And they're
You know,
very,
because like I'll sit here and I'll be like, yo, like, hell yeah. I just did fucking 100,000 plays on my new single. Now I want a million next time. Cool. I just got $100,000 in my bank. Listen, I am willing and open to what you send my way to advance me towards what I'm speaking into the universe.
right.
And a lot of people, like you just had said, you know, think when it comes to like manifestation, when it comes to prayer or anything like that, when they're, you know, you could be on your knees like begging, like, please, 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 I need this, I need this, I need this. If you're just speaking to it and not really allowing yourself to open up to the multitude of possibilities to that end goal,
Right.
you're not doing your part of manifesting, of praying,
100%.
because you're asking for it,
but you're not putting in the work.
not even gonna put in the work. Like you're gonna get what you want, but the higher power, God, Yahweh, whatever deity you do believe in, or whatever like you do believe in, they're not gonna hand it to you. They're not gonna put it in front of you and be like, here's a hot, warm cheeseburger, eat it down. No, they're not.
No.
They're gonna put something in front of you. They're gonna put a breadcrumb in front of you, bro.
Yeah.
They're going to put a crumb in front of you, and then they're gonna be like, look, there's a line of fucking crumbs now. Follow it to the burger.
Exactly.
Follow it to the pie. Like, and that's what a lot of people don't understand with these manifestation, affirmations, praying, anything you do when you're like putting, you are literally putting your vulnerabilities and your energy and your soul out.
100%.
Like that's what you are doing in that.
100%. And you have to be like very intentional with it too. Like
very intentional.
Like you
are literally.
There's a big difference in saying, my song just hit 100,000 plays. I wish I could get that to 1 million. Versus saying, my song just hit 100,000 plays. I'm going to get it to 1 million.
Yes, because speaking that into existence, you will get your song to 1 million, but you are only speaking out into the universe that you are saying, I am opening up to the possibilities that are helping me get to where I want to get.
100%.
Because there is no right, left, up, down, right answer to how you are going to get there. Because you can ask anybody that's successful, that has done anything and accomplished any of their goals, how did you get there? Not one of them are going to tell you the same story.
100%.
There is no magical formula to get from A to B. There's not.
Like you have to delusionally believe in yourself to do it, but you also have to be willing to like be humble enough to have gratitude too. Like when you hit that 100,000, you can't be like, it's not enough. You have to be like, I'm grateful I hit 100,000.
Yes.
I'm going to hit 1 million.
Yes.
And also, I think a lot of people are so pressed on a timeline.
So pressed on the timeline, bro. It's not about the timeline. It's about the journey.
It will happen for you when it's going to happen. Like there is people who have popped off, gone viral, gotten famous in 2 songs, and then they fall off the face of the earth because they weren't ready to handle it. They were not like, if you and I would have popped off when we first started, who the fuck knows what would have happened to us, dude? We were not prepared to handle it when we first started. When we first started touring, we were barely ready to handle touring, to be completely honest.
Barely.
And if we would have popped off to those heights, our mentals, we would have not been able to handle it. We needed to go through all the trials and tribulations. We had to go through, bro, you're not going to do it. You can't be shit. We had to go through like, oh, you're at the fucking top of the world right now, but let me bring you back down to fucking rock bottom again. You know, we had to go through the highest of highs, then the lowest of lows, then the highest of highs, then the lowest of lows, to a middle ground to be like, we've experienced all of this, but now we're prepared.
Yeah.
And now we level the fuck up.
And that's where, you know, opening yourself to the possibilities comes into, because whether you like to believe it or not, your prayer, your manifestation, it's not going to be answered in a day. More than
No.
likely, you're going to ask for that time in and time out, and you're going to go down so many different paths that have dead ends.
Yeah.
But within that, you chip away stuff that you don't need.
100%.
And you really, really fine tune what you truly do want.
I don't remember who said this to me, but they were like, if you take the United States highway system and you were to drive from New York to California and do a straight drive across, if you stayed on the one straight highway system to get across, to stay straight without taking detours to get you there will be the slowest route to go. Sometimes you have to go up through other states, down through other states, then back up, and that's the fastest route you can take.
Yep.
Because that's going to get you there ultimately faster just based on how the road works. And I think like manifestation and dreams in life is kind of the same way. You're going to hit detours. You're going to hit little dirt roads that you get stuck on. You're going to get low on gas and have to take a shit at a fucking shitty gas station on the way. You know, like there's going to be different scenarios for every single person on that trip. But as long as you get to where you're ultimately trying to go to, it'll happen when you're supposed to get there.
Exactly. You know, like, especially, you know, if people tuning in are like just starting on their, you know, like their journey and everything like that. I don't want people to get misconstrued the idea of like, all you have to do is hope and pray and pay attention and do your best. Like, no, it's not a straight climb. It's not a straight run. It's up, it's down, there's water, there's spikes, there's shit that's going to scrape you up. There's going to be days where you don't fucking think you can go anymore. But at the end of the day, as long as you know and truly believe in what you want, you're going to get it.
100%. And you also have to be a little bit honest with yourself too.
Like, oh yeah, dude.
Like you can't be, I'm going to be a professional athlete and be the greatest ball player of all time if you literally can't hit the fucking ball.
No, you can't.
Like you have to be a little bit realistic with yourself. Like there is some.
You have to have a common sense.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, exactly. Like there is some circumstances like the cliche one is the Michael Jordan one where he got cut and then he made it. He just worked harder and got better. Like there's the like circumstances like I'm willing to admit I'm not the most talented person. I just work harder. Like there is some those circumstances, but in order for that hard work to work, there has to be a little bit of skill under there.
Yeah, like you're just saying, like the whole like, you know, like if you can't hit the ball, you can practice and try all you want. If you get better at hitting the ball, then yeah, you're gonna be what you want to be.
Exactly.
But if you continue to try at what you're doing and you literally don't progress at all, there has to be a point in time after you've tried for so long that you really have to take a step back and be like, okay.
And also, okay, so like, say for instance, you're that person that literally can't hit the fucking ball, right? You have now learned a million different ways to not hit the ball. But you know what? Just because you've learned those million different ways to not hit the ball, maybe you should go hop on the mound and use those million different ways to not hit the ball. Maybe you can pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like there's options.
There is 100%. There's options, and like
I know how to not hit the ball. Let me throw it to somebody so they can't hit the ball either.
Exactly, and like that boils down into it too, is like being honest with yourself and being okay with your shortcomings.
Yeah,
everybody has shortcomings. You
can't focus on them. You got to focus on what you're good at.
Exactly. But in order to focus on what you're good at, you need to accept your shortcomings.
Yeah. And 100%. And in order to focus on,
like, I'm not sitting here saying like you have to accept your shortcomings. That's it. Don't ever work on them ever again.
Right.
Like, no, you just have to accept like, okay, this isn't my path. Time to try this path. That's 100%. What I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Because like until you really accept and like see what your shortcomings are, you may be going down a path to another shortcoming.
Literally. And like, just stay on that fucking baseball analogy because it's where we're at with this analogy. If you don't accept that shortcoming, there's two things with this. One, you could not be able to hit the ball because you haven't changed your swing. You could change your swing and hit the fucking ball.
Yep.
Or like I said, you can go fucking pitch and make other people not hit the ball. And the other thing is you have to be self-aware enough to know where your strong suits are and where your shortcomings are. Don't focus on what you can't do. Focus on what you can and be the best at it.
Like, dude, you want to know one of my favorite icebreakers when like meeting someone new, especially like business wise? Simply asking someone, what are your personal strengths?
Yeah.
Dude, I guarantee you ask that question, 9 out of 10 people are going to stutter and be confused for about the first 5-10 seconds trying to answer that question because nobody really thinks about it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to toot their own horn and be like, I'm fucking good at that.
Right.
Dude, fucking do it, bro. Toot your fucking horn. Do whatever you got to do. Make sure you know your strengths.
100%.
Because if you don't know your strengths, how do you know what you're good at?
Also, why the fuck would you not tell people what you're good at?
Exactly. Or be, dude, I know some people that are like, I guess too humbled or embarrassed to be like, yeah, I'm good at this. It's like, why?
You're fucking
why would you
self-conscious at that point?
Yeah, it's like, why would you be embarrassed about being good at something?
Like I can understand a lack of confidence, like if something is if there's like if that's a trauma response to something, but even that can be built back up. Like
Yes.
you can be in an abusive situation where somebody belittles you to a fucking point where you literally think you're not good, but you can build yourself back up from that, you know? Like if you are good at something, tell everybody you're fucking good at it. Like I not to fucking sound like an egotistical asshole, but I can rap, I can make beats, I can produce, I can engineer, and I can put on a fucking hell of a live show, you know? Somebody asked me like, okay, what is your strength as a musician? I can do all that shit. And I'm confident saying I can do all that shit. And if somebody's like, well, you sound cocky. No, I just know what I can do. And if you don't have that mind state, if you don't have, I can do this in your fucking repertoire of your vocabulary, you ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah, and exactly. And the people, because no matter what, there are going to be those people that are like, wow, you sound cocky.
I don't give a fuck.
That is them having a problem with themselves. Because they're mad that you are that confident and they're not that confident.
You sound that cocky. You sound insecure.
Insecure as fuck, dude. Insecure as fuck.
Right. Like, and it doesn't have to be fucking anything that people put on this fucking global scale. Like I said, I can rap, I can write a verse, I can songwrite with the best of them. Somebody else might be able to fucking sell water to a fucking seahorse. You know?
Or like, dude, this is another straight off this topic. People that are threatened by other people's success.
Goofy.
That's goofy, bro. Why? That makes no sense.
That comes back to my definition of success, though. Like you being intimidated by my success is me being happy. If your success is an accolade, you're probably not happy.
Not happy.
Like,
yo, you ever run into somebody that genuinely is mad that you are happy?
All the time, dude.
That's weirdo behavior, bro. It's weirdo behavior.
Like I feel bad for you at that point.
Like, dude, it happens more often than not here in LA. It's kind of funny. If you're out having an outing with a couple friends and you're having a good time, you're laughing, having a couple drinks and shit. If you get just a little bit too loud, there's a Karen or a Mike or some sort of pissed off older person that is going to say something to you.
It's so fucking weird.
And it's like, why are you mad that I'm having a good time?
Literally.
Like, what? And it's always funny because it'll never be that person saying something to you directly. They'll call their waiter over or the manager or something. And it'll always be funny because as soon as something happens, you'll be able to look around and tell who just fucking complain.
Yep.
And you always look at them and they're miserable.
Oh, 100%.
Miserable. Dude, if you are that gung-ho and mad that I'm having a good time, come over and join.
Literally.
Because 9 times out of 10, you're mad that I'm having a good time because you're not having a good time.
Right. Like that's
come
like,
over, I'll buy you a drink, we can talk about it.
Facts. Like I'll buy a fucking shot.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I'm notorious for buying shots for the fucking bar.
And see, and like the part of it too is like, say that does happen and say that person came over. I just spread happiness to that person, and that person is no longer miserable. Right. They are now happy, and they are glowing. Their vibrations are up.
Yeah,
and it's just gonna keep going.
100%. And it literally all comes back to confidence, dude. It's the same thing. Like the same people who are fucking offended by you having a good time are the same people like offended by somebody being successful. Like this goofy shit now is the amount of people who are offended by people having OnlyFans, bro. Why?
Bro, I'm literally
internet. Why are you pissed?
I am literally in the gym getting cut and ripped tonight so I can start an OnlyFans, all right?
Shut up. Do it, you won't.
Bro, wait until this tummy's all the way gone, bro. Give me another month or two. You'll be seeing it. My name's gonna be Bobby Bulano.
Change your fucking stage name from rapper named Bobby Mats, OnlyFans named Bobby Squats. No, I'm gonna make an OnlyFans. It's just me being high as shit, eating food in ASMR style.
Yo, that honestly probably have a lot of subscribers.
Just opening my fucking rapper loud as shit.
Bro, can we talk? Oh my god, I love random tangents on the pod. We'll get back on track after this, I promise. But I love
my beer emotions are kicking in.
I love my mom and her generation's incapability and lack of knowledge of social media and trending topics, right? My mom, I'm on the phone with her last night, and she goes, so I was on Facebook yesterday, and did you know that there is a farting queen of Facebook?
What?
And dude, I just start dying laughing, and I'm like, no, I didn't know that, Mom, but I'm not surprised. And she's like, what do you mean you're not surprised? And I'm like, let me guess. She does videos of her like farting.
Yeah.
And like she has millions of subscribers. She's like, yeah. And people also like buy stuff that she farts on. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I'm not shocked in any way that that's real.
No.
And it's funny because it brought us into another topic especially with the OnlyFans. Dude, there's this girl that I know through a series of friends. Bro, she gets like $3,000 a week or some shit like that to sell dirty underwear.
I mean, I'm not gonna kink shame, but
I'm not gonna kink shame, but I'm just saying, like, dude, what the fuck?
Bro, find me a place that I can shit in underwear and sell it.
Dude, that's what like, yo, these motherfuckers are down bad.
Yeah.
Down bad. Like, I'm not one to kink shame, but like, why are you buying dirty panties, bro?
Yeah, that's bizarre as fuck. I'm not gonna kink shame it. I don't get it. But then again, why are people mad at it is my point.
Dude, I'm not mad at it. I'm like, bro, cut me some bread. Right. How I do this?
Like, I'm not fucking.
But the people that are mad about it are the people that are
buying it.
Well, I mean, yeah, probably. Well, no, they're not buying it. The significant other is. It's because they're mad that they're not confident enough, or they're mad because they feel like life did them dirty because they don't look like that person. It's like, I hate people like that.
Yeah,
I hate people like that. It's like, oh my god, like if only I looked like this, or I had this, or this, or that. It's like, bro, what? No, you are literally trying to be someone else. Stop.
Right. Yeah, like if only I look. if you want to like look like something, get your ass in the fucking gym. If you want to have a certain thing, get your ass a fucking camera. You know,
And
it's
dude, it was funny because I was in the sauna the other day, and this dude and I are chopping it up, and
like
he
towels on or towels off, chopping it up.
we were not naked. Um, he fucking says he's like everyone in this gym is just trying to be like what he say? Everyone in this gym is just trying to be somebody they're not.
Yeah.
And I kind of like looked at him and I was like, well, what do you mean in that? And he's like, think about it. When you start your gym journey, you are trying to not look like you are anymore, right? And I was like, yeah. He's like, so realistically, you come into the gym to train in hopes that you are going to become somebody new. And I'm like, okay, keep going. And he's like, so in hindsight, you're trying to be somebody you're not. He's like, whether it be better or worse is completely on you.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was like, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, we're in a sauna, bro. What the fuck? I just met you. Why are you dropping this bombs on me right now, dude?
I was like, I didn't come here for this.
But I'm just sitting there, I'm like, damn. I'm like, he does have a point.
He do. There's definitely a point. Like I think people start their gym journey on for different reasons. Like sometimes it's like you said, like to change your body image. And I think like for me, I started mine so I didn't fucking have a heart attack on stage when I tried to perform.
I mean, yeah, but like still but the gym is just one aspect of it.
No, and like what I'm getting to with that is like with the gym thing, it's kind of like an addiction. Like you fix one part and you're like, okay, let me fix the next.
But the biggest thing too is like the gym is just like, one comparison because like that's physical, like that's visible. Like you can see like, oh,
Yeah.
that person, like they're going to the gym, like they've done that.
Right.
But becoming like trying to become someone you're not, for better or for worse, can be mental too.
Oh, 100%.
Because a lot of people think you can only work out physically.
Yeah.
No. You can work out. Your brain is, you can work that shit.
Yeah, you got to train your brain just like you train your body. You got to train yourself how you want to think. You got to train yourself how you want to react. You got to train yourself how you want to. You can't train yourself how you want to feel, but you can train yourself how you want to react to feelings. Like you can, like you can train yourself in all different aspects of everything, and it's ultimately a personal choice. And that dude was on some game that day.
That dude was on some game, bro.
He was on some game.
Yeah, it was interesting.
What a fucking real life G. But on that note, while we talking about training and in working on yourself and working on things, what do you got planned for your self grind this next week?
This next week coming up, what dates do we got? I think it's the last week in October, right? October, August.
You were way ahead of time, bro.
I'm looking for spooky season. We got going into the first week of September. Really this week I got coming up, not anything too crazy. Might get behind the mic and lay some tracks down. I got some stuff to send over to Mr. Daniels. And then really it's just I got to prep for the video shoot on the 10th.
Productive week. Get some content pumped.
Yes, sir. What about you? What you got going on this week?
Just got some show rehearsal, going back and forth with you because it looks like you're gonna be coming out for Dax.
Yes, sir.
Gonna do some back and forth rehearsal with you on getting our set list mapped out. I'm gonna be sending in the deluxe version and getting some merch orders put in and finishing those last 2 tracks of the hip hop album, and then probably just working on a lot of marketing and pushing forward. And like I said, figuring out how to rehearse via the internet for a show that your stage partner's flying in for.
Hey, we're gonna do it though. That's all that matters.
We gonna make it work. October 3rd in Minneapolis, October 4th in Iowa City, opening for Dax. Catch Ryan Bronson and Bobby Matz live.
Yes, sir. But with that being said, we are going to wrap up brunch and episode 4 of the Sundaze Brunch. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, I'm Bobby Matz. Check me out on Instagram @_Bobby Matz, on Twitter @YoungMarky. Those are my 2 socials. Check out my catalog. I'm available on all streaming platforms. And again, thank you for coming to brunch.
And I am Ryan Bronson, and some things to look forward to in the next few weeks. We got one more episode with Bobby and I next week. Well, every week with Bobby and I. Starting episode 6, we got some special guests coming. So
yes, sir. So that is exciting.
Some very exciting things coming for the pod.
Yes. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next Sunday. And always, don't be late for brunch.
Cheers.
Cheers.